Changemaker Hub, striving to inspire change makers everywhere.
Hey Q, welcome to the podcast.
Hey Mona, thanks for having me here.
Your name is Innocent Gasole,
That's
right?
it.
So
Yeah.
sorry for not saying that first.
That's
'cause
okay.
Q is also like how I'm used to you. So thank you so much for being here.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks for being
So
here. And by the way,
excited.
Q is what normally everyone calls me.
Yeah.
It's what I'm known for. You know,
Yeah.
the government name was kind of hidden most of my
Yeah.
life.
So maybe we'll find out the story behind that.
Sure.
But let's start with a quick intro, and maybe you can throw in your childhood happy memories.
Oh yeah, and I would
Yeah.
love to. Well, first of all, thanks for, extending the invitation to come on this podcast. I was telling you before, and I'll say it again, like you are an inspiration, right? You really are to us. Your story is inspirational. And what you're doing for a lot of us is you're bringing us out of our shell, out of our comfort zone, and mingling and finding like-minded individuals, a space that we normally would not have the privilege to be amongst or be around. You're doing that for a lot of us, and you're going to be famous, I'm telling you. So I told you that before, and I'll tell you that as many times I can. Thank you so much for this. So my name is Innocent Gasole, and I'm from Rwanda originally. That's my background. I was born in Uganda, Kampala, at a time where Uganda was going through its turmoils and with the president and stuff, and back in the 80s. My mom
You're
and
dating
dad,
yourself.
I am. I'm not going to tell you exact date, no. But I lost my father in the 80s to some violence that was going on in the country. So my mom had the courage to bring us all here in Canada. She looked for a refuge outside of Uganda, and as a blessing, we were able to come here, 5 of us and my mom in the late 80s, early 90s. She was raising 5 kids. So that's the lineage I come from, right? A mom who's really, really strong-minded, positive, do anything for her family. So it was really interesting growing up. You asked a little bit of my childhood memories or
Happy times.
happy times. There were so many happy times. There really was, having all this abundance of new things to explore. I know coming here, it was like the dead of winter, right?
Wow.
I remember that. Seeing this white stuff on the ground, like, what is this, right?
Scary.
It was scary. Having all these toys at my disposal, right? Because when we came here, we came with some support and some people that were reaching out to us. They heard of our story, and so there was a lot of new things. I was a little, toddler at the time, and I didn't really understand the magnitude of what this all meant. But now looking back, it was just such a special thing to go through, right? And so, yeah, it was special being raised with a single mom, 4 older brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest of 5.
Wow. So all brothers?
2 older brothers and 2 older sisters, and then me, the oopsie child.
You get
I
a
think.
nice mix.
yeah, it was perfect until I came around. No, so we came into Newfoundland. We first landed in Newfoundland, and then we went to London, Ontario, where I graduated my high school and post-secondary studies
Nice.
as an architectural technologist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. I resonate a lot of your story because we came here as refugees too.
Yeah.
And it was dead of winter. So I remember I was a bit older than you. I was like a teenager, and I remember just jumping on the ice, but then the top was hard, but it's mushy. So I remember just thinking it was mushy, and then it was crazy times. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy, right? Migrating to a new country and having only one parent,
Right.
a mother, but you turned out great. And I also know your older brother, Michael, who was also in our program.
Yes.
So I got to know you first through Michael as we interacted through that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to know you a bit deeper in this conversation. You've just graduated in cohort 2 of the Changemaker Innovation. Yes.
Yeah.
The
a lot of fun.
Yes, and I really enjoyed having you in the cohort. You bring this calmness, this wisdom. You're also kind and generous too. I hear some of the cohort members saying, "Oh, Q's like a big brother." The younger ladies.
Do they say that?
Yeah, they say that. So, I'm privileged to share this journey with you, with your entrepreneurship development.
Yeah.
So I want to hear a little bit more about that. Where did that come from? How did that start? I know you said, your schooling, your education was in architectural design, and your business, and you'll talk more about that. It's in that industry. But when did you actually think of it as more than just a profession or a job? When did you think, okay, this could be a business? I'm going to do this as a business.
Well, as I think about that, I think of my family and my mom. She was an entrepreneur in her own right. She had to think of ways to feed all us, 5 mouths. And it was a tall task, you know what I mean? And so the typical 9 to 5 or whatever, she always had to have something extra to help us out. And so she would go into selling cars as a side hustle, and I would see that growing up. I would see her doing more than the average, right? And that kind of sparked a little bit of my go-getting kind of hustle mentality too, right? And then again, my brothers, my brothers are both a big inspiration. You mentioned Mike. He started his clothing business, selling clothes. He started selling clothes in the back of a trunk of his car, to opening a store on one of the busiest streets of London, Ontario, and doing really well, inspiring a lot of people to do the same. And then my oldest brother, Arusha, he started a satellite business. And this is the time when I was in high school. He had his own business in California, so every summer, I'd ask him, "Hey, can I come help you out?" Because of course, who doesn't want to be in California, right? So I'd go down there, and I'd be in his pickup truck, and we'd go install satellites to rich and famous people to average people and in between, and it was really cool. It was really eye opening just to see him in his element, right? I'd watch him work, and he'd just know everything. Well, it seems like he knew everything.
Yes. To a kid, right?
Yeah, to me it's like, wow, they would ask him questions and he would just do it, and then I'd see his setup at home. I'd see everything about his business was him. He would have a garage full of stuff, and I'd ask him how do you do this? He's like, well, I got to purchase it. Okay, so what's the numbers looking like? And he'd break it down to me and such. And so when I went through my schooling and I graduated, I looked to work for myself. That's the initial thing I started doing, was I started reaching out to contractors and anybody that could use my services. And I say, well, I'll draw buildings for you if you just, pay me. And I had no idea how much I should be getting paid. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I eventually landed a job, and I was in the industry for a long period of time. It's been 12 years. And so during the pandemic, though, I ran into 2 of my friends who were thinking of doing something. They were just like, okay, we've got to do something. One in particular, a shout out to Crystal. He's a real estate agent here in Ottawa, and he thought of bringing us together. He got an e-coms person, and then he's got an architectural person in his Rolodex, right? And he's like, well, I'm going to use these guys to see if we can build a business together, a real estate development business or something like that. So we'd get in touch every week. This is during Zoom. This is the height of the pandemic, and we would talk about strategies and ways of how we can level up and maybe purchase a property and build it and flip it, and so that started my my thinking of okay, I need to start a business, because if we're going to do this, there needs to be a business attached to it, right? And so I launched my business in October 2021, and with many different ideas, like, okay, I'll do this joint venture with my friends, and at the same time, I'm always getting requests for, hey, Q, can you draw me a shed? Can you draw me a floor plan for my house in Africa? Or, I'd get all these requests throughout my years of working in the industry. And I thought, okay, well, now I can leverage my business. And when I get these requests, I can actually, funnel them the right way, right? So that's kind of how it started. And I launched in October 2021, and not knowing what it means to run a business. But it's been going great so far. Right. Thanks to you and the Changemaker Hub, I was able to just get the right resources that I need, understand where I need to go on a weekly basis, and kind of to approach the business in a more formulated way, right? Rather than just kind of like,
winging it.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that started. And so, yeah.
As I was hearing you talk about like your mom doing side hustles, I could relate to that. Like, I'm a single mom too with 3 kids, so I understand the pressures of one paycheck.
Right.
It's not enough, right? Nope. It's not enough. And
never enough.
So for me, that was the driving thing too. Like it was from a place of survival. Like I know I'm just like going from paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
And I never have enough. Like I can fulfill the needs of these kids, even though I always wanted to protect them from like how bad things were, and kind of just because you don't want to traumatize the kids and show them this is how much is in my bank account,
Yeah.
So the driving thing for me was like, I don't want money to be an issue. That's why I had like different side hustles. So I can totally relate to that. And for me too, like the attractive thing about entrepreneurship was this idea that I could get as big as I want. You know what I mean? I could move things around, scale, make more money, and I'm not at the mercy of my employer who may not see the value in what I'm doing, who's not willing to increase my paycheck because there's a limit to that.
Yeah, no, that was one of the things that stood out to me too with my brother's business. When I visited him in California, he'd pick me up no matter what the time that I showed up, right? He'd be there picking me up, and I was thinking like, oh, don't you have to work? He said, no, I subbed it out to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then, I'd be there for a week working with him, and then he said, you want to get up and play ball tomorrow morning? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. He's like, you want to go down to Venice Beach? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, let's do that. And I'd see him on his phone for a minute, and then, next morning we're there, and I asked him like, don't you have to work today? He's like, no, I subbed it out.
Yeah.
And I said, what is that? Like, what do you mean subbed it out? He's like, well, someone paid me to do my job. I got a little bit of a commission from it, but I don't get,
the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
But because I've been working all week, I'm okay. Yeah. I said, wow, that's powerful. That's pretty cool. So you control your own schedule? He's like, yeah. Right away, to me, that was amazing, because I'm used to seeing my mom just bust her butt, work 9 to 5 and then some to pay the bills, right? And here's someone who's living authentically, in my mind, right? At that time, being able to just kind of float around and do what they want, right? And I think that's what attracted me to being an entrepreneur. Starting this business was a means to start a joint venture, which would potentially get us, a lot of revenue and some freedom, right? But I knew that can only happen if you start your own business, right? Because an employer, depending on how big they are, your income is only going to go up 3 to 4% a year.
Yeah.
If you get a raise, hopefully you get a raise.
Yeah.
But if you don't get a raise, you're just kind of living
stuck. Yeah.
that income hike, as means to survive.
The inch up.
The inch up. While inflation is 9%,
yeah,
you're getting a 3% raise. Well, thanks, employer. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's not doing enough for me and my family. So.
So in terms of, like, I want to know a little bit more about your business, and for the listeners to understand.
Yes.
ARC. Digital twin.
ARC Digital Twin.
Yeah.
ARC stands for architecture. Digital twin is a industry terminology that really means digitization or digital data of construction, which is which is stolen from NASA, actually, from the 1960s. NASA did this thing where they adopted this term digital twin because before they went out to the moon, they needed to have a piece of equipment that they can service in case things go awry in the moon, like it doesn't work out, some issues. How do we maintain, how do we service this piece of equipment? So there needed to be a digital copy of that. There needed to be something that they can touch and understand the maintenance of that before they send it out to the moon. And then if it's in the moon, what would happen if this, scenario 1, scenario 2. So they have these measures in place. And so eventually this caught on to construction, and where now you have to have a digital copy of whatever you're going to build, so that you understand exactly what that entails, right? So that's why I kind of stole that term. And I love it because
it sounds cool.
It's the future, right? It's the future of construction.
Yeah.
You need to digitize your processes. One, that helps with your production, right? If you know exactly how many windows, how many the wall makeup, the drywall, if you know everything is accounted for, then you can price it out and have limited waste, So that's a great thing to have in construction, limited waste. It's a means of production or income. You know what I'm trying. Sustaining. Yeah.
I feel like your business has so much potential. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. And I'm not even in your space, right? Like when you say these things, I don't have a full grasp of what it is, but I know, using words like future,
right,
digitizing things, that's the language of the future.
It is.
Right? And so, seeing you embark on that and kind of be ahead of the curve and bringing it to people's awareness, like this is what you should be doing.
Yes.
Right? And leading that, I think it's amazing. And a lot of times I look at you and I see all these innovative ideas and I feel like, we need to see more. We need to see people that look like us,
right,
doing these amazing things.
Yeah.
So in terms of Arc Digital Twins, what is what do you want to accomplish with it? Like looking now into the future, like let's say next 5 years, thinking big and dreaming big. And I know for you, maybe that's something that we had to transition, and I had to keep telling him, you have so much potential with this thing.
It's my baby. I'm starting this, and I plan on having multiple businesses. I really do. I kind of see that in the future for me, is to have multiple businesses. But for this one, I want to kick it off, and I want it to grow, and I want it to employ people, and I want it to help construction companies, architects, homeowners understand architecture and not feel like it's above them or
unattainable,
consumable data. That's what I want to bring to the forefront. So it's like, you can read a floor plan, but does it pop out to you? Do you really grasp the space that you're in, right? Does this furniture really fit? Is it in your vision of a space? Like you think of this space, how nice would it have been for you to have this space empty and then have all the information that you needed digitally before you walk in and start saying, maybe this will look here, maybe. But now you're like, yes, because I have this model that shows a green couch along this beautiful backdrop.
The famous green couch.
Along this beautiful backdrop with this lighting. Oh my God, this is going to look amazing. So you already have that information. Now you just got to go out there and buy it. So that's what I'm bringing to the space. And it's there, but it's not used readily. It's not really that, achievable for a lot of firms to do that. That's the kind of problem I'm trying to solve with my company. Right? Not a lot of people are great with that or good with that or good with 3D.
And a lot of people may not even know what it could do, right? So like for me, for example, if I'm getting into a space, hiring someone like you might seem out of reach, right? I may not even understand like what does that entail, you know what I mean? So I think making it more accessible to everyday people and knowing, okay, that could cut down a lot of your search for furniture and like buying things that you may not need and having too much clutter, or just doing it all at the same time once. And that's just one piece of it, like the internal, what is it called? Interior design.
Interior design, yeah.
It's just one piece
Just
of it.
one
And then
piece.
you have the construction.
You have the
and
maintenance,
all
all that sort of thing. Like what year was, if this is a homeowner, what year was your roof installed? What type of roof is it? You know, your wall, is it a structural wall? Like all that information will be in a model. And how, like that's the next step of my, I guess my company is having accessible information for clients. Maybe it's a website, maybe it's a subscription base. You know, I'm always trying to reinvent the wheel for my business. It's still in its very much like ground, you know,
infancy,
right? And I'm just kind of figure out which direction I'm really going to spearhead and where I'm going to go exactly. But for the moment now, it's servicing developers right now. I got a lot of interest from developers. Like, okay, you know, I have this piece of property. What can I build on it, right? So, okay, well, let me look up the zoning for you. Okay, it's zoned for this. All right, can you draw this for me? And let's see if it's obtainable. Can I build this? How much is going to cost, right? So, okay, sure, here it is, right? And now it's like, okay, well, they like it. They want to go for it. They purchased the property. Now they need approval from the city, right? Is the city community okay with having this high rise there? Q, can you draw something up that's pretty that the city can kind of be excited about, right? Sure, here you go. So everything's in-house. Everything is right at their fingertips. They have that information. They don't have to look for different kind of expertise for these certain things, right? It's all there. So that's kind of what I'm servicing lately. And I think that will get me out and, you know, network with different people is doing that kind of service. And
and then grow and branch out different things.
See where I best fit.
Yeah. I'm curious to go back to your entrepreneurship journey. And I know, although you have tremendous experience in your space, the entrepreneurship journey is kind of, you are developing it, right? And congrats to relaunching it after the incubator program. And I could see you, you know, showing up more and gaining visibility. And you have a lot of advantage just by your story. You know, I've been kind of telling you, like, hone in on that story because, you know, you have so much uniqueness about you, and that could really boost your business, not just a business. It's the person behind the business that people want to know about. So in that journey and in developing and crafting your business and finding your way with it, how has that journey been like for you? What challenges have you faced? How has your mindset supported you or held you back in different times?
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's been some limiting beliefs with that exact question. It's you know, because when you start as a black man, as a black woman, you know, you probably hear this a lot. You know, people are scared of seeing a different face in front of a business. Maybe you should be in the background, you know. Maybe you should have a stock image of a, you know, Caucasian person in the front there. Like, you know, I've actually received...
So you don't put away businesses. Yeah.
That's right. I've actually received information or advice like this secondhand, right from my friends, right from people that are established. And that's exactly what they told me, right? And it scared me, right? I said, okay, well, I don't want to be in front of the camera then when I'm talking about my business. But then you shed a light on in a different perspective, and that's, you know, tell your story because you're going to resonate with people if you tell your story. And that sat with me because I was like, yeah, I think that's true, right? You don't have to be scared of you don't look like the norm, you know, out there. And in my journey, 12 years in the industry, 12 plus years, I've tend to kind of gravitate to those people that look like me and try to hear their story, you know, and see how I can kind of advance my career, you know. It's really important to advocate for what you look like, you know, because you inspire other people to come up underneath you. So like the journey is still ongoing. You know, the relaunch is still ongoing. Everything is still ongoing for me.
Yeah.
But I'm taking my time because I want to do it right. You know, I want to do a good job of it. And not to say that I'm putting it off, but I'm just kind of like, you know, I want to make sure it comes off right. Yeah.
Thank you for that, like honesty and vulnerability. And that's not a unique story in terms of like people that look like us being encouraged to be in the background.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's hard to now, I do a lot of convincing, a lot of mindset shifting with our community, and in terms of like get in front, because you actually have a lot of uniqueness about you that could boost your business. In today's age, there's no like marketing that's just paid. You know what I mean? People have to resonate with you, with the brand story. The great thing is we are unique. We're not average Joe that doesn't really have unique stories. You know what I mean? So you have rich culture, rich experience. People want to hear about how is it like coming to Canada as a young child, losing your father and building this empire, right? It's going to be an empire, right?
Thank God, hopefully.
So yes, definitely. So building this empire, so they want to know that story. They want to support that person instead of just a corporation that no one really knows about their history. You know, so
no face with the corporation.
Exactly. So the next phase of marketing, it's about that. It's about impact. It's about stories. It's about everyday people resonating with you and you inspiring others to be their best self.
And I tell you, Mona, that's probably one of the number one things that I've learned from going through this experience with you is that branding is super important. You know, mindset shift is super important. Yeah. You know, putting yourself out there is scary, but you'll reap the rewards of it because then you're authentic. You'll see people that are truly invested in your growth and like, you know, what you have to offer. That's huge. Like, you know, that kind of, I think, is going to traject. It's going to bring me to a place where I should be, right? Because I'm being authentic with my story, right? So I thank you for that because, I mean, the noise was hide, you know, hide, you look different. You may scare off some potential clients, you know, be in the background, you know, answer the question like, we, you know, and then make sure that, you know, it's like, okay, no.
Don't be too real now.
Right? Don't be too real but no, that's not the truth. The truth is you need to be out there.
Yeah. And honestly, like I've learned to embrace that as my superpower too. Like how many women who like came here as refugees, who's single mom, are doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? So that could be, that's my story. And honestly, I felt like it was my power. It was my power. Like my mindset was the only power that could take me out of that room or make me stand up in that room and not feel like I'm less than anybody else. You know, because the stories were telling us, oh, you're lucky to have this job. You know what I mean? Look around you. How many people that look like you have management positions? Right. You're lucky. What are you doing? You don't even come from people with money and you're going to just walk away. So for me, it started from a place of survival. Like, I don't see myself here anymore. I want to do more things for myself. I want to do more for my kids. I want to grow. And my mindset is something that can actually help me do that. Because a lot of times the thing that's holding us back in where we're at is our mindset. So once you actually know, okay, this is my mindset, and if I work through it, if I shift it, then it's really my superpower. Because then I could get to the next next place. And if
Yeah.
I'm in a room and I have the awareness to feel like, oh, I'm feeling small
Yeah.
because everyone else is white and in suits and whatever.
Right.
I'm gonna speak louder because now I'm seeing that's holding me back, right? I'm going to hold my space.
Right.
I'm going to say what I need to say.
Yeah.
And part of it was also believing that whatever is coming to you is inspiration. Like, you know what I mean? Being present with that. If you're in a meeting and it feels like intimidating and you have all these big names there and you get the inspiration to share an idea, right? But because you feel small and all these big people are there, you might say, oh, who am I? Everyone else is quiet. Everyone else is on a different direction, right? Yeah. But the thing that always encourages me to still say it, I don't care if they don't hear it or they don't give me attention, whatever, is it's coming from a bigger place. You know, this inspiration came to me and I have to honor it. I have to share it.
Wow.
And when you do that, you get noticed. You are not just a quiet black person in the background. You said something. I will say something in every room I'm in. This idea that comes to me, I will say it. If you remember me, you remember me. But I'm honoring myself too.
That's amazing.
As an equal. So for you now, I see this. When I look at you, I see you in your prime, really. I see like you're grounded, you have wisdom, you have passion, you have experience, and you're bringing it all together and kind of honing in to build this thing up. So as you are on this journey and you're doing this, what are some of the things that is supporting you? It's helping you. And I know it's never done deal, right? Yeah. It's never, oh, I achieved here, I'm done, I'm good to go.
No, it's never that.
What's helping you with your mindset growth, with your continuous, like taking step by step, moving forward?
Well, it's family. Family's huge. Family helps me, and I mean my internal family, my 2 kids. You know, my oldest son Noah. You know, my youngest son Tristan. My wife Alex. Like those 3 are my biggest inspiration. Really, I mean, doing things is knowing that I can do things with them helps me. You know, my mindset, just like you, like I think I have that mindset of like I don't have those boundaries per se, right? I may feel a little bit, you know, not right in the space or, you know, but I'll hold that space. I'll sit in that space and I'll get out of that situation and say to myself, okay, what could I have done differently? So that next time I'm in this space, I feel a little bit better about it, right? Being in a room full of people that are established, per se, and I'm still kind of on the come up. You know, what can I do to really own that and stand out? You know, it's at the forefront of my thoughts these days. I tap into, you know, ways to level up, right? I want to read the latest book on mindset. I want to listen to the greatest podcast. And like you're saying, I'm in my prime. I really do feel that sometimes when I wake up. I was like, okay, what can I tackle today?
Yes.
That's going to help future Q, you know, with whatever issues that he may have, you know. So yes, it's this, you know, this boundless mindset of like, you can have whatever you want in life. You just got to envision it. You got to work for it. You know, I'm not in the best financial situation I'm in right now, but that doesn't mean, you know, 5 years down the road that I'm going to be in the same situation.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to sit here and pout and complain, you know, about it. I have to work towards it. You know, I have to take one step, you know, make that minimum payment, you know, do something,
keep
you know,
going.
rather than just sit here and just, well, you know, it's too tall of a task. I can't tackle that. So why do I even bother? No, it's important every day. You know, perspective is one thing that I've really learned to adopt in my life. You know, in the last 12 years, it's like I can look at someone that's living a better life. I would imagine. But, you know, in hindsight, you know, they're really not, you know, they're kind of going through the motions, right? So don't assume someone's doing so well, so much better than you are. Own your space, you know, take it day by day, step by step, you know, look at the glass half full, you know, all these little things, you know, I'm breathing. So that means I can tackle any issues that I have, you know, because some people are a lot less fortunate than I am. You know, I tend to stay away from those complainers.
Yes, they can bring you down.
They really
super
can.
fast.
Oh my God, I've lost so many friends. You know, so many people that I used to have on the group chats. I've left group chats. You know, people can say that I'm sort of a loner these days, and it's because like
You're shedding. You're purging.
I'm purging. I'm purging those people, those spirits, because they did bring me down. They brought me to a level of average, right? And I didn't accept that. I didn't think that I was average. You know, they talked about the latest Gucci belt and going to clubs and like, yeah. And I looked at that and I was like, you know, that ain't life. That's not all to that I need in my life right now. I got 2 kids. You know, I got a wife. I got a mortgage. You know, I got a dog that has pet insurance. You know, it's
10K.
Yeah, Coco, you know.
5K each knee.
5K each leg.
We have to cut that maybe.
No, it's okay. You can add that in, because I think dog owners out there would appreciate that, you know.
Yes.
They come with their expenses. So, you know, just looking at my life and everything that I'm responsible for, I just can't allow myself to have a poor mindset, you know, every day.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I got to show up. And if that's just 1 foot, that's great.
Yes.
You know, if it's not a jump, it's a 1 foot.
Honestly,
that's awesome.
the biggest job is just showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up for whatever is calling you. Like you showed up for this program. You showed up, right? If someone invites you to a meeting and you're not sure about it, you're nervous about it, what do I even say? But you showed up.
Oh my God.
And as soon as you show up, the half of the battle is done. You realize it's not that serious, not that difficult. Just show up.
That's like if someone were to ask me, what advice would you give? That's exactly what I'd tell somebody. Just show up.
Yeah.
Just
that was
show
my
up.
next question. You
Was
stole it.
Yeah.
So my next question was just that. What would you give, like, younger Q? What advice would you give younger Q? What would you say to him?
Younger Q, I would tell younger Q to just show up. You know, don't be afraid to show up and fail.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to show up and win. Like, just show up, right? You know, accept that meeting. You know, go out to that networking event. You know, even if it falls on a day that you rather do something else.
Yeah.
It's gonna grow you. You know, I remember thinking like, God, I'm really scared of talking in front of a lot of people. Yeah. I was terrified about it.
Yeah.
You know, even now I kind of, I'm a little nervous about it, but
it's a scary thing.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But when I took on a particular adventure where I had to speak in front of like 130, 180 people, like they kind of fluctuated. And at first I was like, no way, I can't do this, you know? Yeah. And I just showed up. I just said, you know what, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to take it in stride. I'm going to try it. And during that whole thing, I was zoning in what I had to do, and it lasted about 30 minutes. But after it was done, I felt so empowered that like I did this thing. Yes. I did this talking in front of people. That it became like I wanted to do more of it. Yes,
the back of the room doesn't feel like your place anymore, right? I'm like, I need to be seen. I need to be like in the front there.
Right. I then started like, okay, what kind of expertise can I loan? So I started doing talks on certain things that I specialized in, and people were like, I couldn't believe the comments, Mona. They were like, "You're such a great speaker." I told myself, "There's no way. There's no way. I'm not a great speaker."
We are our biggest critic, right? So anyone could tell you you're a great speaker.
Yeah.
But then you would listen to the video and just find one thing like in your mind. You know what I mean? But that's the thing that makes you human too.
Right.
That you're not robotic and saying everything properly, and they could see, oh, like that was funny, or you know what I mean? Yeah. So embrace the flaws as gifts too, as what really makes you you. Because if you didn't have that, like my kids make fun of me whenever we're ordering food, my accent comes out. I'm like,
just when
"It's
you're ordering
okay."
food.
Yeah, because I get flustered. I'm making multiple orders in the drive-through. I'm like, it's okay. I came here as a teenager. I have an accent, but the thing is, it makes me sound different.
Right.
Not like just like any person that comes through. So I could own that as an advantage. Do the mindset.
That's right.
Shift in that way and frame it that way, because we always have a choice. Like you said, it's perspective, right?
Yeah.
So you could look at everything and see, oh, I don't have that. Or you can go inward and say, oh, I have that.
I have this.
You know, I have this, and this is unique and it's beautiful. And I own more of that.
That's right.
I want to be more of that. I want to be more of myself. And the thing is, you give other people permission to be themselves too. Like other people might see you and say, oh, Q is so cool and real, and I like him. I resonate with him.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, is when to see people like you approach you and say, wow, how did you get in your position? You look back, you're like, wow, really? You know, like, this is really happening? I can't believe it. Right? You never, I never thought that I would have younger people come up to me and ask me, like, how did you get to where you're at today? I thought that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Me too. This has been great.
We need to do it regularly, and you come back, you give us an update on how things are going, the great things you've achieved. I'm excited to see what comes next. I'm excited to follow your journey and claim some of that success and brag about you. So in terms of next chapter, I know you said you have a few things that you're excited about. You want to relaunch, you want to do it properly. What is something exciting that we can expect from you coming out soon?
Well, you can see my page, Arch Digital Twin, on Instagram, Arch_digital_twin. And I'm going to be posting more of what I can do. My creative juices are starting to flow a lot more these days. And, you know, even if I don't have a client, I'll be 100% honest. Sometimes I'll post it that I don't have a client, but this is a concept drawing, for example, right? Because I may have that space to fill in and I hope that a client is watching and saying, hey, I like that. You know, can you do that for me? So I'll be posting a little bit more of what I can do in that aspect. I love that.
And people will see a range of expertise and just spaces that you could do something with. I'll be watching for sure.
You're a big inspiration. So knowing that, I'm gonna be on my A game.
We're inspiring each other, and I'm grateful to you, honestly, Q, for just being yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't say that enough, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You're an incredible human.
Oh my God, thanks.
You're extremely grounded, kind, generous, beautiful.
Oh.
Keep being you.
Keep coming.
Keep shining. Don't hold back.
Okay.
We want to see more of Q.
Oh.
I'm super proud. I can't wait to see what comes next. I'm cheering for you and rooting you.
I'm excited to see what comes next for you as well. Like I said, you're going to be famous one day, so
listen, we're already famous.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, okay. If you're saying it, it's true, because your vision is real.
Yes.
So
This stuff comes real. We're going to end it here. If you have any question, you could ask me.
Yeah.
Do you have any question for me?
just sitting here with you and conversating with you, your story, you spoke about it briefly, I think, with the cohort as one of our first kind of sit down, so we know the face behind everything. But if you can speak to, I guess, the aspiring entrepreneur out there who's scared to take that leap, right? Who's scared to take that leap because, let's say, they got bills to pay. They got a mortgage to pay. They got a kid to feed. What would you tell that aspiring entrepreneur to do?
Yeah, that's usually my question.
I'm still your
Again, question. You're stealing all my questions today.
I studied you, Mona. That's why.
Honestly, Q, sometimes I'm scared to answer that question.
It's a tough one.
You know why? Because it's not an easy one. Because for me, I got to a point where that dream mattered more than the fear of losing where I was. You know, like I got to a point where every day I would wake up and it felt like I was squeezing myself into clothes that don't fit. It was so uncomfortable. Like the job I loved, the people I loved. But then, you know, when you reached your ceiling in something, like, I don't want to be here anymore because I feel like something else is calling me. So every day felt like I wasn't bringing myself, my A game to the work, to the team. My spirit was not the same. So for me, I got to that point where the dream, pursuing it, was more important than not pursuing it.
I see.
It was more painful to not pursue it than to pursue it. And I was like, F it, let's do this.
Right, let's go.
Let's burn everything.
Right.
So that's what I got to that point. And it's a really painful space because you feel like you haven't achieved it, so you can't really touch and taste it. It's still in your mind. Right. It's real to you. But like the environment, like you don't have it yet, right? So trusting something you don't have, tangible, and letting go of something that's tangible was hard, especially when you have responsibilities. In my case, as a single mom, like how do I just leave? So what I would say to someone who's not in that situation is really keep creating space for the dream. Every day, even if it's half an hour, even if it's 10 minutes, keep that dream alive. Right? It doesn't have to be, I have to quit my job tomorrow. But that dream will start to grow the more you feed it, the more you take space, like make space for it. And it will take a life of its own. You'll start to see opportunities come up because it's in your radar. You're living and breathing this thing. You won't contain it anymore. You can't put it back in the box. You're breathing life into it every day. So it will come bigger and bigger and bigger. And so the fears will get less. Opportunities will show up that will make you feel like, okay, I could do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make the leap. I'm gonna have trust. And keep building that trust within yourself too. Like if you said, I'm gonna make space for my dream, be real with that.
I love that.
Be real with that. And so the more you honor yourself, the more you trust yourself to take action, to take every step. And trust in God too. Trust in God. God is most powerful.
Higher power,
And ask God to make it easy for you, to support you, to show you signs that you're on the right path. See it. Close your eyes. See it every day. Feel it. See yourself there. So it's not a distant thing that gets less and less, like it gets less and you don't see it. It dims. Bring it alive by visualizing, by feeling, putting yourself there.
I love that.
And then you will see it. It will become so big that you can't ignore it. You just have to.
Just outside your window.
Let's go.
I love that advice because you're not dimming your dream, right? If you're aspiring to do something, pay attention to that. Lean into that. 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day. I love that. I really do because that's something somebody can actually do, right? Without the scare tactic of like, I'm just gonna quit my job and then jump into whatever thing I think I can do. You
have to honor your journey. You have to do it when it's right for you. It has to be like, it's risky, it's scary, but it still feels right. You have to get to that point.
Amazing.
I
love that. Thank you so much.
My friend.
No, thank you.
Please keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing. Keep feeding that dream.
I will. Thank you, Mona.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in this week. And if you enjoyed the show, please let us know about it. We love connecting with you all. Goodbye for now.